Pokémon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, which is a really weird title. How can he strike back if this is the first movie and the first time we see Mewtwo to begin with?
That's so weird.
If you grew up in the 90s or early 2000s, it was impossible to avoid the huge explosion of Pokémon Finanza. It was everywhere. A TV show, a trading card game, video games, and naturally a movie had to be in the works. In Japan, it actually consisted of 3 separate chapters, but overseas we only got the 71-minute feature film, which we'll be looking at today, as the first ever theatrical look into the world of Pokémon. While the Japanese version was generally well received by fans of the franchise, the English dubbed version not so much. It was the highest grossing anime film in the United States in history, but most believed it wasn't as good as the Japanese version, as several things were altered, which we'll go over momentarily, and that the entire message was completely contradicted by its ending. The thing is, this movie was actually supposed to be the conclusion of the Pokémon saga, but as the TV series neared its ending, the ratings and reception went through the roof, so the ending was changed to hint that it would be continuing, and yeah, over 20 years later and they're still going strong. The movie is about some scientist called Giovanni who took the most powerful Pokemon in the world,
but none is stranger than this tale of the most powerful Pokemon of all.
Snorlax. No, it's some weirdo called Mew. Seriously, this is the most powerful Pokemon? Look at him, just bounces around making stupid sounds, dumbass.
What?
And he used Mew's DNA to clone him to create an uber Pokemon, Mewtwo. However, Mewtwo doesn't like this idea, being used as a lab rat, and breaks free and escapes. And then forms a partnership with another human who uses his strengths and then wants to use him as a lab rat until he breaks free and escapes. Nice copy and paste job there.
Guess you're right.
Mewtwo then lures a bunch of Pokemon trainers, including our trio, to an island to clone all of their Pokemon friends and destroy the world. I have to say, for a kids movie, it is a cool angle. It's like a Pokemon version of Frankenstein. Fans weren't too keen, however, as the English version drastically changed Mewtwo's character. In the original Japanese cut, Mewtwo was actually more empathetic and real. He just didn't want to be controlled and wanted to break free and be his own thing. Whereas in the English version, he just wanted to blow shit up and kill everyone. I mean, Mewtwo isn't really wrong, is he? The Pokemon are slaves, and he does make some good points.
Your Pokémon will not be spared. They have disgraced themselves by serving humans. Those Pokémon are nothing but slaves.
I think it's a unique angle to go for, especially for an immature audience. It's definitely creative for its time. I mean, wouldn't this technically be the first Clone Wars? I'm not too against the change though. It does make sense that he was created by humans and then used, so he has a strong disdain for them. It is motivation I'm easily able to buy, and it's quite dark for a family film, so I'm all for it. Pokemon always has this style of animation that you can easily identify, and it is gorgeous. Seeing it on the big screen as a kid was incredible, and it still looks good now. Look at him, he's a damn Robomon! When he takes on the Pokemon, he's a damn Terminator. It's so dark and somewhat badass. As for the heroes, there's not a lot to them. Ash is sometimes relatable.
I'm too weak to work, Misty. I haven't eaten since breakfast.
But Misty is a plank of wood, and Brock is just horny all the time.
She's really small, but really pretty. She's cute. Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny are really great.
The original plan was to actually have episodes of the show interlap with this film to give the movie scenes more backstory and setup. That's why there's no real explanation for the world of Pokemon for any viewers who may not be a casual fan of the franchise. Unfortunately, this didn't happen, as a certain episode in the first season, Deno Senshi Porygon, had a bunch of flashing lights and a Pikachu scene that actually caused hundreds of viewers to have epileptic seizures, and they were all rushed to hospital. So basically, Pikachu is to blame for all of this. But also, I don't really understand the argument that they don't explain what Pokemon is to new viewers, because if you're not a Pokemon fan, why would you sit down to watch Pokemon the first movie?
I'm saying yes.
They do have a cool opening credit sequence as Ash battles this random guy, but what the hell is this Pokemon? Look at it, what the hell is it? No, back in my day, there were only 151 Pokemon, that was it. Shut up, you.
The prophets have predicted the return of the winds of water. For years I have prayed that mankind would never witness that deadly storm ever again.
This goes nowhere. Never mentioned again, completely pointless. And it wasn't even in the Japanese version, it was just thrown in for a laugh.
She sure looks familiar.
Of course she does, all the animation of the female characters look identical. So there's this massive storm they need to overcome to get to the island to find Mewtwo, and Ash doesn't even think of using Charizard to fly there. No, instead they get tricked onto this boat with racist Team Rocket.
You want to cross, maybe? We take you, yeah?
Yeah, after being told this is the worst storm ever and that nobody can overcome it, this tiny ass boat with rookie rowers are able to manage it. Hell, they all fall in and somehow don't drown. And then Staryu and Squirtle are able to pull it off. Hell, at least they're water types. Team Rocket's poison type Pokemon pull it off too.
Aren't we going to wait for the others?
Only the trainers capable of braving the storm have proven themselves worthy in my master's eyes.
Do you mean that storm was some kind of test?
It's literally what she just said. And that's another problem with this film. The dialogue. They feel the need to dumb down absolutely everything.
Do you mean that storm was some kind of test?
Mew and Mewtwo.
So Mewtwo was cloned from Mew.
So this must be the lab.
But if Mewtwo destroyed it...
Somebody rebuilt it.
Pokemon aren't meant to fight. Not like this. It's useless. What can come out of it?
Nothing but pain.
Mew says you don't prove anything by showing off a lot of special powers and that a Pokemon's real strength comes from the heart.
Guess George Lucas snuck into the writing room. For the record, Team Rocket do absolutely nothing to contribute to this plot. They take them to the island, hang around, find out about the clones, watch the battles take place, and that's it. They're just there because they're Team Rocket and it's a Pokemon movie, so they have to be there. But if you want some truly devastating dialogue,
The master of humans and Pokémon alike.
You're just a bully!
you sure showed him, but I have to admit, they do sometimes have some genuinely clever gags.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Meowth!
Although,
There goes Alakazam!
that's a Scyther,
Sandshrew,
that's a Sandslash. In fact, that's a frequent issue with this film.
hurricane winds are a breeze for Pidgeotto here.
That's a Pidgeot. Pikachu uses electric on a ground type, which wouldn't work. This fella says he only has water types,
All my Pokemon are water type.
but he clearly has a Nidoqueen. Did they even watch the show?
Stop this now!
They do manage to keep some elements of the show in there, like how Charizard refuses to listen to Ash, so there's that.
What are you gonna do with those Pokemon?
I will extract their DNA to make clones for myself.
Don't you already have clones of them? They're right next to you. It is funny when Ash walks through the smoke trying to look like a badass. Who you fooling, kid? I'm gonna do my homework and then you're in serious trouble. And when Mew the Spaz shows up, it is pretty cool as he's the only one who's been able to hurt Mewtwo at all. But despite my nostalgia, the film does have a lot of cheesy moments. They also start to watch the violence and realise that fighting is wrong. Yeah, this is the issue people had. A franchise built upon Pokemon fighting has now decided that fighting isn't the answer. You know, this would literally only make sense if this was the end of the show, but it wasn't. So it's stupid.
Fight back! You coward, fight back!
And to further add to the cheese factor, Ash sacrifices himself and dies, somehow turning into stone for some reason, but they all have a good cry and it brings him back to life. Jesus Christ, this is lame. You're gonna kill someone off, keep them dead and have some balls. But to their credit, they do end on a pretty positive message. Until Mewtwo erases all of their memories, which makes the entire goddamn movie fucking pointless. What the hell? The whole story makes no sense then. Why did we even spend the time learning this? The film is fun, it has dark moments, and as a fan of the franchise back in the day anyway, it's a harmless, short, enjoyable movie. But the end is fucking terrible. It's cheesy, goofy, and lame, but that's what we all loved as kids, and it's still a whole lot of fun.